Sustainability, creativity, and tourism merged during a 4-day workshop organized by UNESCO through its Transcultura Programme's Creative Tourism Capacity Building and Training Workshop from February 25 to 28 at the Radisson Grenada Beach Resort. Over 35 participants from 14 Caribbean nations participated, including Cuba.
For the 4 days or 5 days that I've been here, I've learned a lot about the Caribbean, Dominica, St. Lucia, Grenada, looking at what connects us as separate countries, but then looking at where we have similarities. In terms of capacity building, I got an understanding of creative tourism and how our models can be adapted and scaled across the region.
And okay, so how are you going to adapt this to Barbados?
Well, for Barbados, I was able to create a new package looking at what we have already and building in some sustainable practices to ensure that we can now reach larger markets. So traditionally, we look at the US, we look at Europe, but now I'm looking at tailoring packages specifically for unique markets, specifically looking at females.
And I'm here based on my project called Crazy About the Caribbean. It's an interactive activity book. I call a scantivity book because it features all the Caribbean islands. There's mazes, puzzles, coloring pages, trivia for kids to learn about the Caribbean. But the fun part of the book, why I call it a scantivity book, is that there are QR codes throughout the book, placed strategically, where children can use their tablets or their phones and watch videos based on each activity. So it's an extended learning process.
Excellent. So what do you think about the workshop?
It has been an amazing experience, primarily because it has opened my eyes to the vast amount of things that the Caribbean has to offer and things that we may take for granted. And I don't want us to take our Caribbean heritage and culture for granted because it should be shared, it should be preserved, and it should be transferred, especially to the younger generation.
Director of UNESCO's regional office based in Havana, Cuba, shared that the aim of the workshop was to bring tourism industry professionals and creative entrepreneurs in the Caribbean region together to discuss their individual products as well as to find ways to collaborate.
We made a study. I encourage you to read, which is called Linking Caribbean Cultural Resources and Creative Assets for Tourism Development Opportunities. And this study, which is online, you can download it, freely, of course. Maybe Adrian can share the link. Also opened our eyes on two things. Is that creative and cultural entrepreneurs were not really considered by the tourism industry. So there is an emergency on that. They were also need of additional capacity building for both sectors in this sense, and to create precisely this link, and also the creation of new and engaging visitors' experiences.
Keisha Gelino is the UNESCO Secretary General in Grenada.
Transcultura is more than just a project. It is a vision for a collaborative, creative future. This program aims to strengthen the cultural and creative sectors, enhancing local economies and connecting diverse communities through shared cultural experiences. We are truly grateful for the commitment of the European Union and the dedication of the UNESCO Regional Office in Havana, since this has been made through this opportunity.
Chief Executive Officer of the Grenada Tourism Authority, Petra Roach, noted the importance of the region working together.
All our Caribbean nations, traditionally we've been taught that we compete with each other. But I feel that with the advocacy of the Caribbean Tourism Authority, we have started to compete and to really collaborate and to really understand that tourism is a lot more than sun, sand and sea. It truly is an opportunity for us to take our culture, to take our heritage and share it with the rest of the world. Because trust me, There are so many new destinations coming on stream who are hungry for the food that we're eating. So we need to make sure that we continue evolving, that we continue being passionate about this industry, that we continue giving of our best. And that culture, that heritage that is so rich, really is intrinsic to the DNA of what our tourism offers.
Many of the participants noted that though they are already incorporating creativity and sustainability into their tourism product, they acknowledge that there will be new ways of packaging it to include experiential tourism.
So you come to Grenada, and typically we only think about sand, sun, and sea. But how is it we take you to the middle of the island, places like Trial and Chocolate, you would go to Montparnassus Plantation, you would go to places such as the Tower Estate. And so you would experience that different side, that agricultural aspect, that quote-unquote rural aspect of Grenada, which we really need to explore, not only for visitors, but also for people in Grenada. Come and see what it is to cook wild down, what it is at Montparnassus Plantation to do cocoa stew, which is cooking with cocoa, which we don't do. It's something that's new that we're starting to do. So it's really people coming to the island and experiencing something that's different.
I was surprised to see that we in Suriname already practicing creative tourism, but we didn't know the word creative tourism. We just did what we had to do just to improve our tourism. When I go back, of course, I'm going to tell them, guys, we are doing something great. The only thing we got to do is now professionalize it, and things I've learned, I'm going to try to implement it into, nice projects, programs, and show the people how they can value tourism more.
This particular event this week also emphasized how impactful and how valuable us as creatives, as filmmakers, the stake that we have in investing in ensuring that other stakeholders like Trisha and like other people can now be incorporated into a visual stimulation, whether it's from traditional filmmaking to the VR technology and stuff like that, and repackaging it to sell it to a wider audience. So this was very informative for us and looking through a different lens.
And I am here. This initiative is excellent. Creative tourism is very excellent, and I think that it should not just be held here in among ourselves, but we should take it to our country, and then we can incorporate it in our different niches. So I am planning to do that in Dominica, not just the Carnago experience, but we have other niches like adventure, we have romance. So I want to take this to incorporate it in other niches, in back home in Dominica.
UNESCO Transcultura Programme's Creative Tourism Capacity Building and Training Workshop was sponsored by the European Union. Another such workshop is scheduled for St. Vincent and the Grenadines from March 19 to 21. Sorana Mitchell reporting.